It is time for our resource review for the week. This week we've been talking about closure. My name is Maria Kliavkoff, and I'm the founder executive director of Healthy Mourning Revolution, which is all about revolutionizing the way we think about grief and mourning. I'm really about making sure that people understand what the grief journey really is so that we stop fighting it and we start embracing it, and we discover as we embrace it the joy that lives at the other side of us doing the work of grief. And grief is work, that's to be sure, but it can be done with ease and grace. And so the resource review is all about giving you a myriad of resources that are available to you to support you in your grief journey. I have talked about this book before. This is, of course, one of my favorite books because it's the book that I wrote, Healthy Mourning Happy Loving, 52 Ways to Convert Your Grief to Mourning with Ease and Grace. And it really is about converting your grief to mourning, recognizing that your grief is this internal sadness, this internal constellation of symptoms, emotions, experiences. And what we're wanting to do is convert what's going on the inside into an external expression. And mourning is that external expression. And when we learn how to recognize when grief has come up to the surface, and we learn how to tap into it and to release it through mourning in healthy ways, we discover that there's joy at the other side of that there's relief and release at the other side of that. So the topic this week has been about closure and the misunderstanding of the word closure, because most of us are told that we need to seek closure, and we don't understand that that's just not true, that it's not the severing of a relationship, it's not the end of a relationship. The relationship has transmuted, it has changed, and how we find where that relationship now is everything. And so we're not wanting to close the relationship, we're wanting to get curious about where that relationship is now. And so in my book, I give 52 ways to convert grief to mourning, but way number 30, which is about cooking their favorite foods, I actually speak very specifically about the how of hearing and listening into where the relationship is now. And so I wanted to read you this short segment from the book because I think it's very helpful for you in understanding how in the midst of the pain may you discover where the relationship is now, but that we actually need to be willing to go into the pain places in order to do this. So in this chapter I'm talking about cooking, in this particular case, my mother's favorite food and foods that were some of my favorites that she cooked, and the process of cooking. And so in this particular case, I'm cooking some soup, and as I'm cooking the soup, the smells start to come up, and that of course accesses all of those places inside of me that's feeling the sadness of, I'm never going to taste the flavors of her cooking again. I'm never going to be able to experience her cooking, and all of the sadness that brings up. And so I start saying, now, as I recreate those aromas and flavors, so do I reclaim those memories and remember what it felt like to have her just downstairs. In the privacy of my kitchen, I can feel the pain of the thought that she will never again be one floor away. I can shed the tears and let out the yells of frustration and anger. I hear her voice whisper in her thick Hungarian accent, remember to close the peppercorn capsule tight or you'll be fishing them out later. There it is. A piece of the new relationship. She will continue to live in my head and in my heart. I'm grateful and frustrated at the same time. It's all part of the dance of the grief journey. The good news is that for this moment, I get to console myself with my mother's cooking. I remember so vividly that moment of, there it is. There she is. There she is. And I remember hearing her voice, but not just hearing her voice. I remember being taken back to that moment when she hadn't tightened the peppercorn capsule tight enough, and peppercorns were everywhere, and she went to stir the soup, and I remember hearing her curse. And my mother didn't normally curse. And so I was laughing through the tears, and I could hear her heartfelt warning, and I realized there it is. There's the relationship. The relationship did not die. And I need to be willing to step into these experiences and feel the tears and feel the frustration and yell if I need to yell, so that I can begin to hear what's underneath that. So the invitation to you is to look into what's underneath it. Where's the relationship? I know you can find it. And what are the ways that you can convert your grief to mourning that will actually open you up to welcoming where the relationship is now? So, if you're interested in learning more about the book, I will put the link to the book, Healthy Mourning Happy Loving, in the description of this video. I invite you to look at more of the videos, and please do subscribe both to this, and I also have a podcast, Healthy Mourning Revolution Radio. And in that podcast, what I do is every week I do a video for the YouTube channel, which is Healthy Mourning Channel, and please do subscribe to that channel. I do a podcast which is on the same topic, and I talk about the topic from two different angles. So hopefully you get a little bit from listening to both. So feel free to also subscribe to the free podcast. And finally, I do a video that is a resource review that supports what we've been talking about this week. So my hope is that that is of assistance to you in your grief journey. If you would like to connect with me and do a free consult, we can absolutely do that. Just go to healthymourning.com and click on free consultation with Maria, and we can schedule a time together. I look forward to getting to know you better and to supporting you in your grief journey. Until next time, namaste.